Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks so much for being here today with me. Thanks to everyone's well wishes for me to get better. As you all know, I was not feeling well over the weekend. I was just a hot mess. Just a hot mess. And I'm back. Feeling better. Not quite 100, but better. So thank you so much for all of your warm wishes and your support. You are the best. Really, you are. I love you all so much. So today I'm going to be talking about how it's really coming down to the wire for Harry and Meghan. They're going to seriously find themselves in a conundrum when they lose their Netflix deal, which I spoke about a little bit over the weekend on my live. But the desperation that they have for their success in America is coming to a head. Like, they have to have some success soon and fast. It's getting ready to just fall down and crumble. We know this is getting ready to happen, and I believe Meghan she's embarrassed by the backlash from the Colombia trip, and she's afraid for her future with their money-making potential and what she is trying to do in this next step of her trying to make it shows her desperation, and that's what we're going to talk about. All right, so let's get into it. I'm talking about today, Harry and Meghan. We know that they went on this Colombia trip, and we saw how much money was spent by the Colombian government. Even so much they've been called out for it. And reportedly, they don't feel that people are really giving them the benefit of the doubt. They feel they are always picked on. No one's ever giving them a leg up, that they are doing good work. They don't see that this is coming from a place of nice job from Americans, from people in general. It's always something. And that is true. Every single time they do anything, it's always a backlash. There's always people that are criticizing them. And it's pretty frustrating. And I can imagine if I were in their position, I'd be like, oh my goodness, Yeah. And the thing is when you get a lot of backlash, when you see a lot of people are always writing you for every little thing you do, you would think that's a moment to just, step back. What am I doing wrong? What is it about me that makes people want to always come down on me? You would think. But that's not Harry and Meghan's thing. Their thing is, okay, we got to work harder, keep trying. There's no reevaluating. There's no self-critical analysis on who they are, what they are doing in terms of maybe other things that could make their commercial endeavors flop. They don't look at it like that. They're like, okay, we got to make these things better. This is why this tour to Colombia, I think, was bigger and it was better. It was more going on. They reconfigured how they did the media, how they were going to have people have access to the information that was going to be released to the public. So much so that I even got a strike for using some footage from their trip to Colombia, which I didn't get when I did my Nigeria video. They are definitely trying to reconfigure. And I have heard as well that they're planning another tour in October. I mean, they just don't get it. They don't get it. That this is why they're feeling so embarrassed and ashamed, because they still got backlash for this Colombia trip. Okay. But a source is telling, that they've been left embarrassed by this latest backlash, especially as they faced similar comments when they went to Nigeria. And the backlash that they got from Nigeria and Colombia, it's almost like, well, we did it better this time. Why are we still getting backlash? There's no understanding of why you even going to Colombia was not even a good idea for you. But anyway, so they want to help raise awareness to the issues some of the countries face. Now, this is the kicker for me. This is how it's not about the people of these countries, because of what I'm getting ready to say here. They know that some of these countries face a lot of issues, and they know that their profile can help highlight that. Yeah. Your profile could help highlight some of the issues that these countries are dealing with. However, are you really addressing the issues of these countries, or are you really focusing on yourself? Are you focusing on what you're having problems with? And that's what you're talking about. Because I can tell you right now, they have not addressed the issues of what's happening in places like Nigeria and Colombia. Okay? That's part of your problem. They also know that these trips help to elevate their status in Hollywood. That's right. They're using these trips because they're trying to get Hollywood to see them as royalty. Because Meghan is fully aware by now she can't get seen by anybody that's an A-lister that's going to be next to her for any project. Where's Oprah? Where's Gayle King speaking on behalf of Meghan and Harry? Where is Tyler Perry, who loaned out his home? Where are these people that were there in the beginning? Where are they now? Because you would think you would see them now. Now, maybe perhaps they're going to wind up on Netflix when she does her cooking show. We don't know. But I find it very suspect that you're not going to these very important events where these people are, the DNC convention. You're not seeing them at these Hollywood parties. You're not seeing her at these concerts with important people. You are not seeing the level of PR with A-listers that she would need to be listed alongside these A-listers. It's very minimal, or it could be just that they're not doing it right. Something's wrong in their PR game or something. I don't know. But it does bring into question, well, why are you not out on these circuits where people can see you? Especially since you are launching this brand, and you are doing so much to elevate your profile with your own business. You're not using it effectively. So maybe that's what it is. And to also help Meghan with her brand. So if you're trying to elevate your status in Hollywood and to get your brand more high profile, you don't have the level of A-level support needed to align yourself with these people that could really help your brand. It's just not happening. Now, this comes after the Colombian official Andres Escobar claims that the government has spent immense money to welcome Harry and Meghan. He goes on to say, there are many, many Colombians who are hungry and have a lack of basic needs, he claims. Yeah, so that right there shows you Harry and Meghan are addressing things that are not even on par with the basic needs of these people in Nigeria and Colombia. Because if you notice, when they've gone to these countries, they don't go see the downtrodden. They don't see the people that are, the majority of the people in these countries who are impoverished, who live in poverty, who are suffering from female genital mutilation, bringing to height issues that are really prevalent in these countries. So you talking about the internet and equality and hear women's voices and then lift women up, it's very surfacial, it's very superficial. Like, if you want to be a woman of empowerment to these type of countries, you got to come out and you got to name the devil. You got to name it. And I'm not going to say it here, but you know what I'm talking about. You know how they treat women in some of these countries. You know how these children are abused and who are not having their basic needs met because perhaps they have issues with treating girls and women as equals. I mean, you hear Meghan speak about it, and these are things she should be speaking to places in America, like she did when I went to that women's fund event that she did, where she was speaking to American black women about, you got to let your voice be heard. Let them hear your voice. Yeah, that's where you speak about these things, not in these type of countries. But this is why she's doing it in these countries, because this is the only way she can be seen as royalty, because no one in America is going to allow her to be received like she's going to be received in these countries. But the problem is, these countries are not, they're just not the countries should be speaking about the things that Meghan wants to speak about. It's like you have to go there. You have to go there to talk about these real hard-hitting issues in these type of countries. But she's using these people to help her own brand. That right there should just send people red flags. You know, you're not coming to really do something about the real issues of these countries. You're here to help your brand in Hollywood, to help sell your jams to the very wealthy. Because this is not going to be jam that's going to be affordable for the masses. No, this is going to be very overpriced jams. He goes on to say that they invested this money because the vice president wanted to meet two high-profile public figures and brush aside criticism and problems that we have here. We are in an economic crisis, and 8 billion pesos have been spent for this visit of Harry and Meghan. Colombian military planes and helicopters have been used, and the money could have been spent better, he noted. So we can see that there's a lot of outrage. There's a lot of just disgust with how the VP has allowed to spend all the people's money on Harry and Meghan's very superficial trip, because they weren't there for real hard-hitting issues that could help the people of these countries, this country and of Nigeria for that matter. So this government claims now that Harry and Meghan, they financed this royal tour on their own. They were like, wait, stop, hold up, we did this, we paid for everything ourselves. Yes. Okay. So if that's the case, that's what they're saying now, because all these articles are coming out and saying this. And part of the problem is they received criticism for even accepting this request from the VP because of the high cost of the security that it was going to cost. Why did you accept it if you knew it was going to cost that much money? So then they're saying now that they paid for it themselves. So this security bill has been estimated to cost Bogota about $2 million, including weapons of war like drones, van equipped with chemical, biological, nuclear response unit, and a helicopter. I mean, my goodness, woman, you really think you are worth that much? So they're going on. The Spanish newspaper El País confirmed with the Colombian authorities that Harry and Meghan, they actually covered their own travel costs. Okay, so that means they covered their travel, but who paid for the security? Who paid for it? Okay, because that would make sense. Okay, someone invites you, you pay your own you pay for your own travel, but then you're going to say, okay, are you going to cover my security? You going to pay for my security too? Well, Meghan and them are saying that they paid for their travel, but where does it say they paid for their own security? It doesn't say that. Then they go on to say that Harry and Meghan, they financed this trip with their, and for their team with their own resources. A Colombian government spokesperson has said. That's very vague, because the issue has always come down, who paid for the security? Not that you financed the trip yourself, not that you paid for your own travel. Who paid for the security? So they're not really coming out and saying they paid for their own security. At least I haven't read that. Now, the spokesperson did not comment on whether the finance included reimbursing Colombia's armed forces, but the newspaper clarified that some costs came from international agencies. Okay, who? What international agencies? It's very vague. They're trying to swat these fires and be very vague about it, but not give details, because that tells me Colombia paid for this security. That's what it tells me. So they revealed that they made significant donations to South American nation through their Archwell Foundation during the visit, including financing for a learning environment, a gym, and drum sets. So they provided new drums to the school. Okay. I don't know about you, but drums in Colombia is a modest donation, considering they spent $2 million on your security. Okay, but that's one thing that they did. The other thing was supporting a secure environment for local children to explore, learn, and connect in San Balicio de Palenque. Palenque. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Okay, I don't know what securing the environment for the local children. Does that mean you're securing the online environment? Did you provide them with local security for the building environment, it's very vague and not really providing enough information around what you actually are giving these people that spent all this money on your security. That's what I'm saying. This is the third thing that they provided, folks. Expanding the social emotional gym program. Really? You expanded the social emotional gym program. What does that mean? What does that mean? So you see how everything in their response is vague and obscure and not really detailed to the point where we did so many dollars for this equipment, so many dollars for their learning environment around online access or around the facilities of the building. They are so vague around the things that they have given to these people that you could imagine anything. You could imagine it being very expensive. You could imagine it being very cheap and not enough in relation to the money that they have of $20 million that someone donated to their charity. $20 million that someone donated to their charity, which we think it was Tyler Perry when they first started the foundation. So, like what? I would think if you are giving something substantially to support this country that gave you so much insecurity, you would be listing more concrete information about what you actually gave them as a gift to the point that it would even supersede the cost of your security. Like perhaps maybe have a building built with your name on it. Nothing that level. So you look at the backlash, you look at everything around how it's embarrassing that people give you so much backlash when you go visit a country, and you look at what they've done to the people of that country in terms of using the children, using their culture and all these things to support their branding back in America, to support their profile and how they're seen amongst A-listers in Hollywood. That's the reason why they've gone to these countries. Is for these reasons, to make more money. Not to just do the good, but to make more money to build their empire in America. That's why. And I think there should be a problem with that. Because that's so wrong to use these people to enrich yourself and to enrich your lifestyle. There's something fundamentally, like Meghan always says, wrong with that. That's what I say. There's something fundamentally wrong with that. You are enriching yourselves off of the backs of the children, the poverty of the people of these countries. You are using them to build your brand. You should be embarrassed. Now, this is why Meghan is afraid that they're in trouble financially. Because I'm telling you, the reason why she's going to do all these things that are embarrassing, because they are desperate to make money. But this move right here is the kicker for me. Because Harry overruled it. He overruled Meghan when it came to a very key decision in their future with their children, Archie and Lily. Meghan wanted to bring the children into the public eye. And Harry didn't think that was a wise decision, because they are not going to want to feature their children in any future Netflix deals. And this is why Netflix is more than likely going to end up canceling their deal. Because Netflix wants the children, they want a fly on the wall. I've talked about this in some of my previous videos. They want more about the royal family because they know that's what's going to sell. But Harry doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to bring the children in, and Meghan wants to. And this is why, because she knows that they're not going to be able to make the money they need to make unless they bring the children and make them profiled, bring them into the public to exploit her own children to make money. Because she can only exploit the children of other people in these other countries so much. To really make the money, she's going to need to exploit her own children to make more money. And that is what she wants to do, but Harry is saying no. Why, might you ask, is Harry saying no? Because Harry wants to go back to England. Harry is done with Hollywood. He wants nothing to do with it. And this is why apparently they didn't even film that Netflix documentary in that mansion that they have with 16 bathrooms, because they did not want to exploit the children in that environment with the cameras coming to shoot them. So this is why they didn't even film it in their own mansion. They filmed it in a different mansion. So, clearly Harry and Meghan are having conflict of how to move forward with their branding and obtaining this money for their future. And they're going to continue to have a lot of problems, because you have to understand, if you no longer share the same purpose with your spouse, if you cannot agree on how you're going to earn your living, if you can't even agree on where to live, you are not aligned in purpose. And a couple that is married that is no longer aligned in the same purpose in life will always have conflict. And conflict is going to be the continual demise of this union. Time will tell. We'll have to wait and see. But that right there is very telling to me about what Meghan wants and what Harry wants. It tells me about their finances. It tells me about how they're moving together as a married couple with children. It tells me a lot about where Harry wants to be, because he doesn't want to be in Hollywood. There's so many things that are causing issues with this couple that it's bound to be a problem for them to move forward in marriage. But that's what it is. I hope you all enjoyed this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.